trying to play music for everybody, and that didn't work. So see who comes back. All right, I was about to quote Oprah. All right, can you hear me now? Check, check, microphone check. Yes, here we go. That one ended. We are here live again. Let me see what's happening. Oh my gosh. Oh. Woo-wee. All right. I'm back. All right, hey, I'm back here. This is Tuesday Thoughts. I'm Lisa. We had a little technical difficulty right there. I'm going to erase the other one. Oh, there you are. Okay, what's up, everybody? Here we go. Take two. All right, hey, Shelby, nice to have you here. I'm going to be talking about the art of evolving, and I've been running through quite a little bit of a series to get here. It's been mirroring the Rise curriculum, which obviously ends in rising, ends in evolving. This is what Oprah said. Got to quote Oprah once in a while. The whole point of being alive is to evolve into the complete person you were intended to be. So I want to talk about evolving as an art form because it is really our life. Evolving, moving through all of the things that we've been talking about over the weeks has been about how do you gracefully and beautifully move through change, resistance, self-doubt, fear. What are your relationship with all of these things that ultimately string together your life? And the truth is, we are always evolving. It's our natural human state. Hey, Pat, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thanks for coming back. So our natural way is to evolve. Like, humans are here to evolve. We can't help it. Our bodies actually regenerate themselves. I think it's every 7 years. Your cells are constantly shedding the old and giving birth to the new. Like, it's in us to give birth and rebirth constantly within ourselves, from a very micro level to a very macro level. I mean, the entire lifespan of your life going from giving is about being born, moving through constant moments. Yes, Shelby, always growing. We are always growing. But the thing is, and if we're always growing, then our ability to lean into how we are experiencing the growth, that is the choice. So that's why I call it the art of evolving, because how do you want to live moment to moment? If you know that, I've been using the seed analogy a lot. In fact, I think because springtime's coming, I'm going to be busting out with a whole spring thing starting next week, actually. If you knew that the whole oak tree lives inside of that seed and its natural way is to grow, but it needs certain things to make it grow healthy, how would you treat that seed? So it's kind of the same thing for ourselves. And we are shedding the old constantly as we give birth to the new. So the old identities that we are releasing to become the next version of yourself is, in essence, the art of evolving. But you're either going to be evolving by design or by default. You're either going to become the master of your mind and start to navigate what it is that you're designing next, and learn discipline, learn your relationship with commitment, learn how to stay on task. And those are the ways that you move through. I mean, Pat, you know, because we had the 30 Days to Change program, like staying consistent inside of making moves in a bigger goal, like you have a big goal and you chunk it down and you make small little steps forward, is evolving. You're moving something forward. And the struggle that we have is that we all have these stories. We all come to the table with old stuff. It's okay. The thing is that you have to question it. You get curious about it and ask yourself, is this mine? Do I want to take it with me? And so with each of the shedding times that you might have, because also there's a bigger growth. And in Rise, the program that's starting this Sunday, actually, I'm so excited, Pat. We go through an entire little cycle of rising in and shedding old identity into yourself. Hey, Berna, I see you. What's up on Insta? And I really feel like learning the cycle of how I move through change. So my process is called the science of change, because I really think that as you learn how you move through change uniquely, what it is that you need to tell yourself to be your inner coach when your inner critic pops up. How do you approach obstacles and turn them into opportunities? How do you hear your negative thoughts and transform them into positive action quickly? Because it's not ever about eradicating any negative thought or even any critic or any obstacle. No, they're all messengers. They all hold such important information. It's how quickly can you move. I know, I can't wait either. So this is my invitation to you now, and as you move through evolving, is to ask yourself, who am I without that? I mean, this was a critical question that gave birth really to the 30 Days to Change program, that gave birth to like really the core of the work that I do in Mind Mastery, because I had to ask myself, who am I without? And there was a lot of different things. Who am I without my addiction to food? Who am I without alcohol? 2 years experiment. Who was I without alcohol? Many years of getting to who am I without certain foods. I started without sugar. Who am I without these toxic relationships? And these aren't things that you just like poof them away. The value is in the question. I will actually always say that the answer is in the question. But just the moment that you stop to ask yourself, who am I without that thing? You open up the possibility to change. You become a little bit more of the creator of your life and the navigator, the opportunity to navigate your mind, versus this idea that the stuff comes to you and you respond to it, or worse, even react to it, versus almost like you're moving the pieces into play. And for me, self-mastery and evolving is about being the navigator of your mind. Like ultimately, that's what it comes down to, so that you can enjoy your life more and more, the moments in between things, that you move quicker through the parts that feel uncomfortable, but value the discomfort in what it has to show you and teach you. So let's see here. I'm just going to look at my notes to see if I'm hitting everything. And the law of sacrifice states that you must give up something of lower value for something of higher value. So what does that mean? That means every time you decide to evolve, or maybe it happens to you, you know, sometimes life has these ways of putting us into moments where, I call it the power of have to, where we bring ourselves to this moment where you're like, oh my God, it's here, boom, and we have to do it. And in those moments, we define a lot of who we are, you know, how you want to move through something. And the law of sacrifice is about really allowing yourself to give up something that was of lower value and step in to the commitment to have the thing that is of higher value. So sometimes it means having to evaluate a habit that isn't going to be able to come with you for you to be that next version of yourself. You know, and I always say a lot of these things sound so simple, and, you know, when you put them into practice, they take a lot of effort. And simple is usually the hardest thing in some ways to start, but then once you get into the flow, it can pick up speed, and you need and momentum, and usually having some sort of support, which is why I am going to tell you all that there's 2 spots left in Rise if you want support in this shedding of an old identity, understanding all of the little parts that happen when you're shed, the natural things that are going to come up that then have us a lot of the times questioning our own, that the yes that you might have had in the very beginning of like, here I go, I'm going to go do it, I'm going to go do it. There's a lot of natural ways that we have, like, let's say resistance or fear that come up, that's just their job. Resistance has a job in your life. Fear has a job. And the more that you see what it's there for and how it's there to show you and teach you, the more evolving can become fluid. You can keep going, you can keep growing, you can keep flowing. So, yeah, the who am I without that thought, without that habit, without that pattern, allowing your perspective shifting to happen so that you can open up to possibilities and that you can start moving from what is my highest good want, what does my highest self want, so that when you're evolving, you're using that voice to talk to you as you move through things. And each phase that you move through, each evolution requires you to have a new level of ownership. And that's also why resistance is there, because all those are they're the gatekeepers of your next level. So they are there to say to you, are you sure you want this? Because if on the other side of this, you need to step up into possibly doing more work, possibly showing up in a new way, stretching your heart, vulnerability. Because change asks you to step in. So one of the best like analogies that I've been working with, and I think it feels powerful for people who have heard it, is imagine, first of all, you're already a master manifester and you're already been evolving like multiple times. Hey, Karsten. And imagine as you shed this layer, this older identity or a habit or a thought. It can be small. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. But I often see sometimes we are unzipping an older part of us and we are stepping out into it. And behind you are every single version of yourself, behind you. You're never alone. You have every single version of yourself behind you as you evolve. So it's so important, at least for me, to realize that I'm just evolving into the next best version of myself. And it feels raw at first, but I also have all of the wisdom that I have had in the past since I've been born. But the thing is that you have to be the one to bring the wisdom forward. You have to be the one to ask yourself, what am I learning as I'm going in my life? And then the last thing I'm going to do before we pick a card today. So if you're here, I'm going to pick cards. Oh, Carson, this is a deck we've used before. Stay here and you can give me a number and I'll pick you a card. I want to make a mention about this concept of there. Oh, hi! I miss you guys. What up from Mexico? I'm never leaving. So rewind. There's all this thought about like there, like, oh, I'm trying to get to a there, especially when it comes to evolving. We set goals and we are always trying to get to these, well, goals are great, and I think that it's also about being committed and flexible when you have goals so that you can move and flow along the way. But the truth is there is no there. There's some stopping points along the way. There's some rest stops. There's some things that show you that you're going in the right direction. But if you hold on to a there, you may miss the fact that the entire moment to moment is living, and that's the most important thing to be experiencing, is each moment to moment. So in some ways, even though evolving feels big, as if we're trying to get to these bigger macro moments, it's super important that we also stop and smell the flowers, enjoy every moment, and really take ownership of the moment, of enjoying it, of bringing beauty to it. Because this is the other thing I've realized with a lot of my clients and myself here in Mexico. I've actually experienced this. And it's such a little tiny nuance of finally getting to the thing that I've wanted for so long, which right for me was being in Mexico. And then not even knowing how to allow myself to enjoy it, to be happy, to fully embrace being here. Because we spend so long in our life trying to get somewhere, to that there, to the metaphorical theirs, to all the moments, to these feelings, to these people, to these places, that then we forget that when we actually do arrive there, if that ever happens, the there, do we even know how to allow it in? And I think that that would be the last little part of the art of evolving, or the work that I do with people, the arcs and the waves that I do and work with, would be to help us allow it in. And I watched myself here. Actually, I wrote about it a few weeks ago, where I had to stop and sit and watch how I was creating so many little tiny complaints and excuses because I really wasn't letting myself allow it in. Now I am. And I love it here, and I don't want to go. But I will be back to New York soon, and here we go. All right, so we're going to pick a card. Karsten, I see you with 9. Pat, if you're still here, and Shelby, and Berna, or anyone else listening, I saw a few of you here picking a card. Here you go. 9 for the art of evolving, and the idea of who am I without that thought, that pattern, that habit, to allow you to open up to possibilities. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, participation. Well, that's so beautiful too, because first of all, it's a bunch of people, Sufis actually, holding hands, and this is like one but parts of a whole, and they create a mandala. And I love that, because especially for evolving, because it really is the sum of its parts. I mean, there's the big evolution of your life, from birth to death, but there are all the micro moments, and how we are one of whole, the oneness, but the duality of everything. And I really think this is such a beautiful card when we think of evolution. Plus, it holds all of the colors in it. It is you with everyone, so that it's kind of like work on you, evolve you, be a strong you in mind and body and spirit. And then you also hold the hands of everybody around you. And that's how we rise. I mean, I'm all about rise together. I'm all about do you first, master your own mind. And then I also love there's one palm up and one palm down. I don't know if you can see it in there. So there's always the concept of receiving and giving, the inhale and the exhale. It's such a beautiful card. And plus the swirling in the middle. Nice one, Karsten. I'm glad you like that one. 6, Pat, I got you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, interesting that they both follow same color scheme, but this is a completely, this one follows more in so this is the Thunderbolt card. Oh, I forgot to also say that participation is an action card. You have to be actively participating in your own life. This is about self-mastery and navigating. Okay, so for everybody, so Thunderbolt, you may look at it and be like, whoa, what the heck is going on? First of all, never judge a card. Every card has 2 sides, and they're both beautiful. Both sides are beautiful in its duality. And personally, destruction and creation are 2 sides of the same coin. So when you see this is about, in some ways, good morning, Elaine. If you want me to pick a card for you, stick a number in there. The destruction, sometimes there needs to be a complete burn down of that old identity. Like, there's many ways inside of the evolution process, the default and the design. But sometimes you really do just have to burn down an old identity. And this card talks about the renewal and the rebirth, and basically the phoenix that rises from the ashes. And this card also talks about when the building is burning and you are up there, you have no other choice but to jump. And I sometimes say change before you have to, but that other thing I was talking about, the power of have to, this is when the building is burning and you got to just jump. And you have to also trust that the net will be there. Trust that you will rise back up. And that's a lot of when you understand the cycle of change, when you understand how you move through it, jumping starts to become a little less traumatizing. And just a side note, I went to a cenote, which is like these underground water caves here in Mexico, and we did a zip line. I don't have any trouble with zip lining and being like high up like that, but they had these platforms to jump off of, and there was 3 levels. The first one I was like, oh, I could do that, so I didn't even bother it. But then everyone was jumping off the high one, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go stand on the middle one and just see how I feel. And it was hilarious, by the way, all the peer pressure. You can do it, you got it, you got it. I'm like, let me feel this out on my own, please. And I felt fear. Like, I mean, I'm relating to this. And I said to myself, and this is what I do in my life to help me simulate moving through fear, seeing fear and doing it anyway. I was like, okay, what level of fear is this? And I was like, okay, this feels like a 7, 6, 7. I'm like, I feel that I can do this. I looked down and I was like, since I knew I was going to do it, I didn't dwell on staying up there. I was like, I know I'm going to do it. So 1, 2, 3. And I jumped. And I got into the water and like my heart, I felt the adrenaline. I felt what fear felt like. And it was actually kind of cool. And I was just thinking about how in life we mirror that all the time. And it was so good to do that from a more controlled perspective. Anyway, I kind of digressed on that, and we're at 20 minutes. So look at the colors on this. Very similar. Very like red, orange, and yellow, which is the bottom chakras, to be grounded in your evolution, to really feel your feet on this earth, grounded here, so you can move with grace and move with intention. And then your second chakra, that's your creative center. Like, what are you creating? What is it that you want? And, you know, sometimes I find that to be the hardest question. And then your personal, your yellows, your personal power, your sun, like bright, shining, unapologetically move through your life with this, like, here I come, fire energy. And then your heart, that's the middle space. And there's a lot of green and blue with your throat moving up here. And then evolution is actually... Wow, my phone is so active today. The evolution is basically when you align your whole chakras and you align your whole decision making, you align your dancing. Oh, I love this line. This is what we're going to end with today. I see a bunch of other people here. I go live at 10, so next time if you want to come from the beginning, but feel free to watch this replay. But this is the last thing I wanted to say was, I love this line. Yeah, so self-mastery is the art of evolving, the dance of who you are and who you are becoming. Evolving is an art form. It holds inside its definition the essence of change, to develop gradually, to leave one state of being and flow into another. Happy manifesting, everyone, this week. Wishing you graceful art of evolving. If you would like support in becoming your next best self and rise up into who you want to become and shed your old schedule a call with me. I have a free intro call. The Rise program starts on Sunday. There's 2 spots left. I'm so honored to do this work with you. So if it resonates, oh, Elaine, I didn't see you. Here, quickly. Ready? Sorry. Boom. 11. That's my favorite number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Isolation. Woo! When you do not allow yourself to evolve and you push down things, they start to create an isolated way of moving through life, which is completely opposite of this participation card. And isolation is when you stay in your mind. This is a mind card. And evolving takes action. So don't overthink things. This card is about feeling. It's about allowing yourself to feel. So we can talk more about that. I got to go. It's getting late here. I try to keep it under 25. And one love, everybody. Stay true to yourself. Express yourself. And I love you. And I will see you Next Tuesday, yes, we're going to be blossoming and springtiming, and like I got a lot of awesome themes for next week. And if you have any things that you want me to talk about, please give me a message. Let me know. I'd love to, talk about what you want to hear about. See you soon. Bye.